During the PowerPoint, I provide the students with the 8 graphs on a piece of paper for them to sketch what possible lines, what could happen with the possible graphs with 2 lines on the same graph simultaneously. And I get a lot of intersection drawn differently where I let them go ahead and post them on that's why I provided extra graphs for them to post what they came up with, even if it was extra than what solutions we're going to talk about, just to get their ideas of what they think would happen on the graph before we actually state the notes if they don't remember from a previous grade, because they have seen systems of equations before, but they've just forgotten most of them. Most of the classes did not put the same line on the graph. They didn't remember that unless they remembered systems of equations. Those students did remember, so a few classes, a couple of students came up with it. So that was the first type of solution we talked about, which was infinitely many solutions if we had the same line. And then we talked about the intersection, the one solution. They tried to classify perpendicular on graph 2 with the same as differently than intersection of 2 lines, and we talked about, well, how many solutions does each of those lines have? And then I think since we classify parallel and perpendicular separately with slope before we get to this lesson, that confuses them that perpendicular should be classified alone because it's classified differently with different slope and opposite reciprocal slopes. But then we talk about, well, how many solutions does each of those 2 graphs have? And we talk about, well, they both have one solution where the 2 lines intersect, so those will actually be in the same category, and that'll be the second type of solution that we have, is intersecting lines will have one solution, whether they're perpendicular or oblique lines, they'll fall into the same category. And then the last type we talk about is parallel, and that'll be the third type of solution that we'll take down in the notes today.